opening up OBS for double insurance. So, all right. So,
I will say they do actively try to.
we might have to switch.
They are
channels.
they're almost completely made up of healers.
But I will say, Ryan,
Think about it.
if I need to switch channels, just tell me. I'm going to be talking this entire time, so I mean no disrespect if I talk over you or Jink or anybody else.
No, I'm not gonna be talking much.
So, first things first. We need to break down. Are you watching stream, Felix?
Hmm?
Alright, first things first. We need to break down the body. The body. Wow. The body is really cool in that you can break it down into really simple shapes. Now, I'm not talking about like, oh, torso square, hip this shape, leg this shape, and other part of leg this shape. No. That's baby stuff, and you need to stop being a baby. So, we're gonna break it down more complexly, okay? We're gonna start off with the rib cage. All right. So first things first. Move this over here some. First things first. We're doing
This is like I'm watching a Khan Academy.
the
Yeah.
rib cage. So
I've never seen.
the rib cage can be broken down into like an egg shape. And I'll try to freehand some examples of what I mean. Rib cage, right? Egg shape. We'll add the spine right here. Then we'll add our hip. That works. Erase this part. And then add like one of these. And add these guys. This goes off to the side. Connects to where the shoulder is. Right? From the shoulder, you have the arm. Then you have the forearm. Then you have the hand. Right? Right, and so on and so forth. And you can even break it down further by like, adding the tummy here. And so on and so it goes, it goes on and on and on. The point is, we want to start off with the rib cage. So we're going to break down this lady here and make sure you have your own references by adding some egg shapes. So here, we're going to add egg shape for the rib cage. Egg shape for the rib cage. Egg shape for the rib cage. There we go. Now, this is not a new model because I'm streaming, but usually you would want to do this with a new model. Now, a few things wrong about my egg shape here. It needs to be raised higher, so I will do that. This one's about right, and this one's about right.
Wait, so does the egg shape? Okay.
The egg shape. All right, let me break down the egg shapes. So we will use this one as an example. The egg shape is a basis for something much more complex. Right?
Okay. Yep. I see it.
At the
I was
top of
just
the egg, we're gonna add
Mhm.
some of these boys. This would be where the neck goes. Right? But we're not adding the neck, we're just adding the bones. Right? I forget what they're called because I'm stupid. But the bones would then go off like that. Same thing on this side. So the bones go. You can see that's what our drawing's looking like so far for this egg shape. Next, you need to know that on the chest, right, you have these things called pectoral muscles. Right? I'm assuming you know what pectoral muscles are, yes?
What? I just sneezed and it hurt my ears. Huh?
On the chest, you have pectoral muscles.
Oh yeah.
Right? Your pectoral muscles are your pecs, right? Not only males have these, women also have pectoral muscles. So you can use the same guideline, meaning our egg shape becomes much more valid. Nice. So, if you feel your rib cage, you know that, it doesn't have doesn't have a bottom like this. You know, your rib cage doesn't have a bottom like this. That's silly, right? It has this shape that like goes up, right?
Yeah.
So use your egg shape and create that shape. And this little dip where your solar plexus is, this thingy, if you draw a line across, this will be where your pectoral muscles are. Make sense?
Yeah.
You can then erase the bottom of the egg shape. And now you have a rib cage. Ta-da! Following me?
Mhm.
So, from the rib cage, you can do a lot, right? You can get the spine, which goes from, it's on the back side of the rib cage. And you can bring it like that, right? Have this person, like, leaning against something, like their arm is, like, against a table or something, and they're leaning. Make sense?
Yeah.
Or you can do anything else. But the key point here is that after you have your rib cage, you can then add the spine. Using our reference, we see that the spine on this character shifts some this way, right?
Mhm.
Just a slight shift, not extreme. So we'll add that. Next, you're gonna draw either the head, or you can move below the ribcage to the pelvis. Now the pelvis is a monster. You can do it a lot of different ways, but I like to use the animation technique. So after the ribcage, we're gonna move on to the pelvis, specifically the animation technique.
Mhm.
Now, when you're doing figure drawing, like actual like figure drawing for like illustration, everything has to be very detailed. You need to know the exact bone, you need to know the bone structure, where you put the muscles on top of that, so on and so forth. But we're gonna downgrade a little bit. We're gonna go into the animation, which in animation you just need to know shape language, right? So we're gonna be a little bit of a baby, right? Just a little bit, for the sole reason that most of the time you don't really need to depict the pelvis's intricacies. So we're just gonna break off the pelvis to something like this, right? A triangle. But we do need to know, or like whatever this thing is, pentagon. There we go, right? What we do need to know is that this pentagon, it is in 3D space, like our egg shape. The reason our egg shape works is because I can rotate it, right? My egg shape, I can rotate it and add like I can have the character leaning down some, so I get my egg shape, and I can like rotate this way, and then I can add like the neck bones like around here or something, right? I can rotate my egg shape. This thing right here, you cannot rotate as is. So we do need to know what the pelvis
Wait,
looks like a little bit.
my headset just died for a second. All I heard was it can rotate
The
for
egg
that.
shape can rotate, yes.
Okay, yeah.
You can rotate the egg shape, yeah.
Mhm.
You can make the rib cage like the rib cage from the side would look something like this, right?
Mhm.
Something like that. Can you rotate this? What does this look like from the side? Can you rotate it?
It's flat.
Yeah, it doesn't work. So the answer is no, you cannot rotate that. So we need to know a little bit about pelvises. Good thing we have this character right here. Moving on to this lady's pelvis, we see that the pelvis can be broken down into something like this. So this is what our side view is. We have the front view and back view, and we have the side view. Now we can rotate it in 3D space. Congratulations. And then you would also add your like little leg bones right here. But the point is, we can now rotate our character into 3D space, right? Or we can rotate the pelvis into 3D space some, even if it's a little bit like a baby. You know, even if we're being little babies about it. So after that, you know, adding legs is pretty easy. You just, you know, you can add the bones. You can do it multiple ways. If you want to, you can like add the lines for the bones like I'm doing here. Why did my thing go to this thing? I don't want that. I want this thing, right? Let me erase this some. If you want, you can add the bones like this, you know, like, oh, line here, knee, line here, knee, line here, right? And, you know, you get a shape that works. But guess what? That's baby, okay? You can know how to do this, that's fine. And you can use it as, like, you know, a little calculator if you want, or to double check, right? You can use a little calculator, or you can use it to double check, but it will not help you actually draw the leg. If I were to tell you to draw this leg right now, you would struggle like all hell without this reference. So, we need to know how the leg looks. So after that, or head, because again, you can move to the pelvis or the head. Third, you can go to arms or legs, right? Legs are also a monster. They're weird, they're wacky, but luckily we have a pretty good reference that isn't nude but close enough. So, when you're looking at these legs, right, this leg specifically, it is not like an oval shape and another oval shape. It's not a straight line. Well, those weren't even straight lines. It's not like a straight line and then a smaller straight line, right? No, not at all. It's actually a lot more wavy, right? So the leg forming into this line of the pelvis, or our pentagon, right, will move to this muscle right here, which is also this muscle right here. It's the side of the butt, right? There you go, right there, right? The inside of your leg will curve this way, and the outside of your leg will remain fairly straight with a slight curve inwards. But the inside of your leg makes this like C shape, right? It makes this C shape, kind of, sort of. So when you're drawing a leg, right, it'll make sort of like one of these. Like this thigh will come up something like that, right? The inside of the thigh is weird. It's all like fatty right here. This is all fat. And then your quad is right here, you know. That's where like all the muscles are. And you can draw all that later, but that's not important right now because we're just doing basic figure study, right? Basic figure study. After that, you know, you add the knee, right? Connect the knee, whatever. And then you can add the calf.
Guys, sorry to interrupt, but you remember when you were like, Isabel said she won't watch the Evo movies because she thinks it's like a competition now?
Yeah.
I've won.
I saw.
Oh, you saw the Instagram thing? You
You
didn't
also
like
sent
it.
me
I
on
didn't know.
Discord.
Oh, I forgot. I
and
just
it's-
remembered now. I'm
Django,
sorry.
you're interrupting my lesson. I do not appreciate
I'm
this.
sorry. I'm going back to mute.
I mean, hey man, you're not paying me for this. This is free study. So, and it's the same thing for this one. If you want to know a quick trick, when you're drawing legs, right, you just like, I'll just draw it right here. Curve, curve, boom, right?
5 head.
Curve, curve. this one right here, like this leg right here, it's a lot more like, specific, but you really don't need all that. I will erase these marks, and I will just straight up curve, curve. That's all I need, right? Don't need all the extra fancy stuff. Just curve, curve. But the thing is, you also can't be like impatient. You can be lazy, right? But you can't be impatient. This is extremely lazy. And why does it keep on switching to pencil? What I'm doing right here, this is extremely lazy. It is lazy. But the thing is, it works because I'm ensuring that these lines I'm putting down are good, Like, I am constantly redrawing these lines. I'm totally fine with it. I am not being impatient. Close enough. That works, right? Because now all we're missing now is, like, any extra, like, thickness we want to add. But this works. This is fine. And actually, if I look in comparison to this leg, I might want to add that extra thickness. So I'll go back, take the time, and redraw the line. Just expanding it some, so I have consistent legs on both sides, right? We can't have the thickness of Zeus here, and then whatever this is. We can't have like a toothpick. Boom! Look at that, easy. Do the same thing. Knee, you can represent the knee a lot of times with just two things, right?
Mhm.
And then at the bottom of your knee is how do I explain this? So there's a kneecap, right? Then moving down from the kneecap, you have these little two thingies, and then you have the leg behind it. So we add the two thingies. Calf, same thing. The calf is the same thing with the leg, except for this time, not just doing a line and a line, except we are. It's just a little bit different. It's a line and then a straight line. It's a point and a straight line, right? So
Yeah.
we're gonna break it down. Whoops, I was on the wrong layer. Whatever. Let me ensure that I don't want to be on the wrong layer when I'm doing this. So I'm a silly goose. Hold up, I gotta go back some steps. Fine enough. So line, right?
Mhm.
Pointy line, right? Now, trick is with this line right here and your pointy line that points towards the inside of your of the person, right? This line also has a muscle, and you can see it depending on how much muscle mass the person has, and it is slightly higher than this point right here. So in this image, boom, just like that, just line, line.
Huh?
Erase the specifics. There you go. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so we just line, line. This works. You can move this shape into 3D space as well. Looking at it from the side, even easier, right? Because you don't have to add like the specifics, like, this would be like a little bit more fatty technically if it was like front view. But if you're moving it from the side, it is literally a line that sort of has this downward looking slope and a boom. Whoops. That is your calf.
Yes.
And then your foot is just going to be a triangle, right? We'll break down the foot, breaking down the foot is a whole different matter. This is just for figure study. So you don't need to know all the specifics. But you do need to know, like, okay, after the triangle, what do I add? Add a rectangle for the toes, and you make sure you add a heel. If you don't add a heel, I will smite you. That is like basic. Add the heel. Okay.
Okay.
So we're just gonna triangle, kind of, sort of. Add the heel. Okay, so I should mention the triangle we had, right? It works best with a side view. Once you understand how like a foot actually looks, right? So this is a good way you can represent the triangle. Break it down some more. Boom. Right? That's side view. But with the front view, you'll have to spice some things up some more, you know? You'll have to actually get the, you know, it's a foot, you know. You'll have to actually get the shape, the language, right? But it's not that hard if you understand how the triangle moves in space. Because it's a triangle, but it's not like a perfect triangle, you know? You have the toes, and you have the heel. Move this in 3D space, and you can see how it would look, right? So if I move this in 3D space, I can see how it would look from a front angle, which would be more like a square that moved up like that. Make sense?
Mhm.
Right? So break down all your stuff and learn how to move it in 3D space. Ta-da! Now we have a basic, like we have something going on pretty good here, right? This is pretty good. Next, we go back, you know, we do whatever we didn't get. So we did pelvis, then we did legs, right? Now we go head, arms. The head is, oh man, the head. Okay, I mean, we've gone over the head before, right? Except we're gonna do it a little bit more in depth this time. Bring your attention over here, please. Once you get your circle, right? Just doing the front view of a head.
My enemy.
Get your circle. Front view of a head, right? Break it down the center. These are like, follow these exact steps. Break it down the center. Bring it down some, right? From the edges, bring them down some as well, right? Add a jaw, and then add a straight line. Okay?
Oh my god.
Just like this, okay?
Yeah.
This is good front view. You add lines down, and this one a lot of people miss. The chin has its own line. If you do not draw this line, you're going to have a bad experience. If you do this,
If you do not draw this line, you are trolling.
if you do, look, if I instinctually drew the line. Look, you see that? You see that, Mark? I instinctually started drawing the line because this. No.
Crazy art instinct.
No.
Cringe.
No.
Cringe.
Right?
Stop.
Old manga artists and old animators used to do this. They don't do it anymore as much because it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good, guys. We can't have eyes that are like this big. Right? And then they add the eyelashes and like, oh, bro. Wow, she looks so pretty. You know, it doesn't work.
Oh, I
And she
was
has the chin
thinking
all the way down
thank you.
here. It doesn't work. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You do this. Add the line. Okay. Now, breaking this down some more, because right now, if I were to ask you to move this in 3D space, you'd have no idea what you're doing. Right? Can you move this in 3D space?
Yeah.
Can?
Wait.
Okay. Draw this in 3D space, and let me see how you do it.
Felix, he's not asking you if it's a possibility. He's asking if you can do it.
Oh, Oh wait, hold
Can you
on.
conceptualize that entire thing at a different angle in a different possession and
Yes,
draw it
accurate.
right now?
Hold on. Hold on. Let me think about this. Hold on. What?
The
Felix,
answer is usually
these are-
no.
This
so
is a
we
no.
get that.
This is a fat no. This is a fat no.
Okay, this is a no.
Not enough
right?
reference points.
Yes, you don't have a visual library great enough to do that. That's fine, right? This is where studying comes in. So, we're going to grab this. We're going to move it to the side some. We're going to break it down, right? Everything we drew here is going to be in our 3D space, like in our side view model, right? Starting with the godforsaken sphere. Okay? Line from the top down. Okay? And I have this problem when I'm drawing side views where I draw my line like this, right? Like it's not big, but it's slight. So I need to pull it down more like this, right? Something like that.
And then you do a curve to the side up into the ear.
So next, right? What did I do next? What did on this thing? What were my steps? I do the circle first, right?
The
order
line,
matters.
the two sides.
Line was second. Okay, so line was second. Circle was first. Just point towards the circle. What'd you say was third?
Can't do that. Wait, circle, line, the two sides.
Yes. Third was these things, right? Which is exactly what we're going to do now. We're going
The
to
jawline.
wait a minute. Hold the phone. We're going to add the beginning of the jaw point, right? Which is like I don't know however you want to break this up, like a third, I guess, which is kind of accurate, kind of inaccurate. It depends on whatever you're drawing, I guess. So we'll move it up some, right? So yeah, we're doing this on this is our third mark. What was our next mark?
The jawline.
Yes, the fourth was this thing, right? That's exactly what we're gonna do. What was our next one?
It was the chin.
The chin, yes. This thingy. We add that. We add that in some way, shape, or form. It is there, right? This is what this looks like in 3D space. For your figure study, this is all you will need. Okay? So you're adding a skull. We can do this quickly. All right, we're going to add a circle. Line. Two things. Add this here. Add this here. And then connect our neck or our spine. Remember, the spine and the neck are this like basically the same, and the spine connects to the neck. It is like the bone for your neck. It is basically your spine, right? So you connect your spine here, connect your spine here, right? Open up our thing. Look at that. We did it. We didn't even have to use the image, right? It's right on, right-o. You following me? Now
Yeah.
I'm recording this, so I'm going to send it to you afterwards or post it on my YouTube, and you can watch it. But I'm going to continue now. Next, arms. Right? So we did head. We did ribcage first. Now, then we did head, right, for this section. Now we're doing arms. Last thing that's left. And then subcategory, I guess, if you want to go fourth. Naturally, you do hands or feet, right? Which we already did the feet. For your arms, we want to start off with the shoulders, right? This nice bone here gives you a good reference for where your shoulders start. Bing, bing, bing. So, I accentuate that more. In muscular people or really skinny people, I will show clearly. You can see where this bone is, right? And that bone, I'm clearing this area now because we don't need it. Clearing this, we don't need any of this. That bone, where the shoulder is, starts from the neck. Specifically, it looks something like this.
Wait, what bone is this?
This is, you know that neck bone that you draw like this, or a lot of people draw like this, and then they add the traps that people don't usually add, and they add the neck.
Oh, the collarbone?
Yeah, I forget the specific name for it, but collarbone, sure, it looks something like that. There's like 4 actual like parts to it. It's kind of wavy actually, so it's not always, it's not a straight line. Don't do that. Don't do that. It is not a straight line. This collarbone, right, is where your shoulder muscle starts at the end. Believe it or not, if you feel your own collarbone, you'll feel this is where the shoulder muscle starts, or shoulder bone starts. Then above it, you have a little, top of the shoulder. And you can keep on going from there. Make sense? Right?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. So, looking at our reference, this lady has, that's where our shoulders are starting. The shoulders, you can, let me think where we want to start this. The shoulders are a bit weird because a lot of people, they draw shoulders, they're like, oh, circle, right?
Mhm.
The thing is, if you're doing this, you need to know how the armpit works. So we're going to backtrack some and go back to our rib cage, because our rib cage is really the basis for all this. It's very important. So drawing the rib cage really quickly, something like this, something like this. Boom, that works, right? Add our little things, right? Now, the armpit, right, which is about right here, is made up of 3 muscle groups, muscles, right? It is made up of, well, it's 2 muscles and your rib cage, right? One rib cage, or bones, right? So the front muscle, right, is the pectoral muscles. The pectoral muscles make up the make up the armpit some, right? So we're gonna add our pectoral muscles on this new guy, right? His pectoral muscles are strong. The next muscle group, can you guess what it is? That make up the rib cage?
What? Oh, the abs? I don't know.
No, not the abs. The next muscle group that makes up your rib cage are your lats. They are in the back of your body. They're like at the back of your rib cage, right?
Mm.
So your pectoral muscle connects to the top of your arm, and your lats cover the back side, right? and now you have an armpit, right, lining with the rib cage. I will use different colors to represent this. Pectoral muscles. Pectoral muscles. Then we go to your lats, which are behind here. And your rib cage, which will be represented in, like, I don't know, like light blue. These things, they all connect in some way or form. And they create the inside of here, which is your armpit. When you're drawing arms, you need to know how your armpit works. It is important. If you look up better references, you can find this. In fact, I might not have my Michael Hampton book, but I may have my Harley book, which I also may not have. Whatever. I'll find it and I'll send you the pictures for how the armpit works.
Oh my god, you know what? I have a drawing book. I don't know. It's like a Marvel book though. Like the Stan Lee's official book.
Okay. Okay. I mean, you can look at it. It might have stuff in it. But let's finish this real quick. So, assuming you know where the rib cage is, right? We know our pectoral muscle group. Add those. Then we add, this lady is pretty skinny, so her lats aren't showing. So that means her rib cage is going to be the only other thing revealing the muscle area, right? We have the line. I'll just not use the reference. Right, we're going to add our arm, essentially, which this arm is squeezing against the body. So, when that, and similar to the knee, the elbow is just the inverted two lines usually. You can just represent it like that, right? Now my arm is really stagnant here, and I realize hers is more wavy. So we should implement that because she's really skinny, right? So here, do one of these, implement the elbow lines, and the forearm. Moving over here, your forearms can look like can be represented something like forearms are really weird. So your forearms can be represented by something like this. If you look at your forearm, you realize that a part of it is a lot beefier than the back of it is, or the top half is a lot beefier than the bottom half of your forearm, right? So you can usually represent forearm something like this, right? This is the 3D model, I guess. Side view, it looks something like side view looks something like this, very similar to the foot. Front view is wacky. It's something like this. So, we'll put something like that. It's wacky. So we're just going to draw a forearm like that. Let's see how good we did. Look at that. We did pretty okay. Not bad. We can make it look better though, referring to our reference. Something like that seems to be a lot more fitting. Boom. There we go. Alright. Next, hands. I am not going to lie. I cannot go over all of how hands are drawn. That is something that you will really have to study on your own. But I can give a small little shot. So, hands, I'm sure you know, you can break them up into several groups. Right
Alrighty,
now.
guys. I will be heading off to bed.
We're just gonna do the simple. Good night.
Okay,
We're
now.
just
Good
gonna do the
night.
simple.
Good night, Felix.
Uh,
Goodbye, Brian. Goodbye, Bryce. I will see you tomorrow.
Alright. Here. We're gonna do simple back of the hand. This stuff leads up to your knuckles, which are like sort of diamond shaped. Even on your thumb. Next, we're honestly just going to represent the fingers right now, simply spacing them out as much as we can, even if it looks awkward, so you get comfortable with spacing out fingers and not keeping them too close. We'll just represent them with simple triangles, squares. Right? Same thing with the thumb. Right? So you have 3 parts. Blue. 1. 2. 3. And then 4 being the fingers and the flesh. Given hands get really complex and you really just have to study them. They're like eyes. But right now, this should be enough, right?
Mhm.
Looking at this lady's hands, we're just going to do a simple breakdown. Something like that, maybe. Close enough. Right? My hand here is big, but that's fine. Next, just gonna quickly do her other arm, which is a bit rough right now, so I moved it too far out. Or rather, okay, yeah. So, something like that. That should be fine. Now, if you did this with your own reference, the goal now is to replicate it. This is the hard part, right? Once you understand how this works and how this looks, the part now is to do it using your study. So first you do it with a reference, right? And you break it down like on top of the reference. Don't just mindlessly trace. But next, like lastly, you're gonna do it like without your reference, just with the study that you did. So you're supposed to do it on 2 different layers, right? You sort of break it down on your own. Remember, take your time. If you rush it, it won't turn out as good. And that's not what we want. We want it to be pretty good.
Now, to practice this, do I just keep on doing it with different types of like poses?
Now that you can move everything in 3D space, or you should be able to, you need to do it with different poses, yeah.
So you just like take a reference and like
Do it
Um,
again, do it again, do it again. This will build your visual library.
Yeah. I also have one question.
What's up?
When you did the face,
Yeah.
like where would the nose go for like an actual realistic one? Not like how you did the sideways face.
Yeah, give me a moment. So I have a question. So were you drawing along while I was talking, or
No.
okay? You should probably do that.
I'm drawing wrong while he's talking. I feel erudition, man, and I only listened to like 5 minutes.
You should probably do that though, because then
Okay,
you're
hold
like
on.
actually getting the whole experience. But regardless, yeah, for your thing, almost done. I'll just baby it. Close enough. That works. This is a good figure study. This is all you need. Right? Maybe add like a little bit more like oh, like this is like, you know, that looks like this is relatively just like that. And then you would actually, for a figure study, you'd want to do like where the actual flesh is. So you might find a thing like that, a curve right here. So stretch, curve, or stretch and point, right? But that's a good figure study. Then you move on to the next one. They shouldn't last too long. But of course, when you're starting off, they're gonna last longer.
Mhm.
And as for your question, with the head, whoops. So when you're drawing a face from the side, right? Line down, and there. So I'm actually gonna lift up my line some because I lowered it too much. Your nose is gonna go. So if I draw the brow line, right? And my eyes go right here, right? Hello?
Yeah.
So my eyes go right here. The nose will come like immediately where that is, right? Something like that. To which this is off some, but I myself am not perfect as I aspire to be. But something like that should work. And then, you know, you have your actual brow. So your nose, you can represent the nose usually with a triangle, you know, and you can change up how the triangle looks because it's a nose, however much you want, right? Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, remember I am recording all of this and I will post it on YouTube if you want me to send that to you.
Yes, please.
Dun, 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 dun. Actually, more accurately. Something like that. So yeah, I think you can add your eye too. I'm not very proficient at drawing men, but you get the point. So yeah, and once you get all that done, you should be able to, move all of these things into 3D space and come up with wackier poses. Like something like, this is, oh, that's a pretty straightforward pose actually. Oh, I still have your thing open. But, yeah. Aside from that, there is a part 2 to this, which will go over composition. The next step to this is composition and
Mhm.
perspective.
Okay.
Um, yep. I should have added new layers for all of
Thank you.
those, so I didn't just erase them, but oh well. No problem. And I will try to upload this. I'll upload it now. Why not? Let me just end the recording. Dun, 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 dun.